Alright, so this probably isn't exactly what you wanted, but I'm just going to show you something that I'm in the middle of working on. I'm lazy. I can kill two birds with one stone. So, let's see where I am. Now, I'm working on save data right now, which is located in BotW.pack. Anytime you want to edit something in a pack, you need to unpack it first. I like to use BotW Unpacker. More modders these days prefer to use tools like Sark. Switch Toolbox is also really popular, although I do not like editing Sarks and AMP files in BotW Unpacker. Sorry, in Switch Toolbox. As far as I'm concerned, Switch Toolbox is primarily used for modeling and maybe some other weird files. I've had very bad luck with repacking Sarks and AMP files with it. I'm not convinced that it works for those at all. That's not to mean that Switch Toolbox is useless. It's an incredibly versatile tool, but this one thing that I work in a lot, not so much. So as you can see, I've already unpacked BotW.pack. Just click Unpack Sark and it'll unpack it. You see a bunch of stuff here. This is kind of going to be like what BotW USEN looks like, but that one's a bit less complicated. So we're playing in game data today. I need to make some changes to gamedata.sark and savedataformat.sark. Now, as you can see, these have an S in front of them. SBIML, SSark, SSark. That basically means it's YAS0 encoded. You need to decode it. The latest version of BotW Unpacker is really powerful and it'll do that itself. Most of the modern tools will encode and decode. So I'm going to click Unpack Sark. Copy and paste. I need to unpack both of these. So open. Yep. Cool. Now if we go back to this file, we'll actually see that it's created a Sark file, which is the decoded file, and the folder that was within it. I'm just going to do the same for save data format. Cool, there we go. So now I've got two. These are pretty simple Sarks. There's not really a lot going on in them. I need to edit these two folders. These are BIML folders, pretty much files, I should say. Pretty much any file format in Breath of the Wild that starts with a B is a BYML format. There's a few ways you can edit these. I'm going to show you one that I use less commonly now. It's a Python tool called BIML to YML. It's pretty great. You just go BIML to YML. We want this one. Grab it. And we want to save it as a YML. So these two exclamation marks basically mean whatever came before me, .yml. So that's going to recognize, I want this, .yml. And we get our YML file. I edit with Notepad++, so you can edit with Notepad, you can edit with any text editing tool. Notepad++ is just great. If you don't have it and you're new to this kind of stuff, just get it. It's super sexy. You can see when things aren't formatted correctly. It's got a lot of powerful tools. One of my favorite is Compare. It's a plugin you have to install. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. You want to see how someone else edited a file? This is gonna be your go-to. So good. I'm not actually going to change anything in here because I'm going to use a different tool. You can see that this is a really long folder, so having this in Notepad is really useful because it's very easy to find things. If I want to look for enemy underscore keys, I can find that very easily. So this is powerful. You're going to want to use Notepad. You're going to want to use BimlTML for these really big ones. When you want to convert it back with BimlTML, you go yml.to Biml. This comes in the same package. I think you need a-b. I am not sure about that. And then you basically just reverse the order of whatever we already had. This one, space, this one. I'm going to put a 1 at the end of this. So I like to grab the file this way. You can just do ! .bgsv data, but when you are working with all these strange formats, you are not going to remember what it's called. I get it wrong all the time. So it's long, it's confusing, it's easier to drag and drop and save over. Cool, that worked perfectly. So I guess we did need a -b. -b, by the way, means that you convert to little endian format, which you need for WU files. Most of the modern tools will automatically detect it at this point, but sometimes you just need to remind it, hey, I'm working with WU, not with Switch. By the way, BimlTML, YML to Biml is really powerful. You don't need to Yaz0 decode or encode with it. In fact, I recommend that you don't. It will just recognize if you have put an S in front of something and Yaz0 encode for you. So if this was a Yaz0 encoded Biml, we would just put an S in front of it. And you can see this is a lot smaller than this. So that's fantastic. It does it all for you. It's great. We're just going to delete this because I actually don't want any of it. We're going to use another one of my favorite tools, WildBits. If I can find it. This is another... Oh my god, you're killing me, Windows. You're killing me. This is another Python tool. Up until recently, it was pretty much only useful for the RSTB editor, but Akeen has made some great updates to it. It's so good. I use it all the time. Now, I should show you some other stuff. Sark tools, RSTB, and YAML, or YML. I'm going to open this. Save data format. We can't see it because looking for AMP files, these are going to be what you work with a reasonable amount. We're actually looking for a Biml file. Biml files. We want this one. So this does a lot of the same stuff. I like to play with WildBits a lot. One of the biggest drawbacks with WildBits is you can't search. We're going to search Lionel. It'll highlight it, but man, this is a big file. Can you imagine if we needed to find every single Lionel in here? That'd suck. So that's why you want to use Notepad. That's why you want to use BimlTML. Sometimes you need to find this stuff. I'm going to leave it there. I just want to show you a Sark. One of my favorite things about WildBits is that you don't need to unpack things. So what have we got? I'm going to open something that I've been working on today. I'm going to open... I was working on this one yesterday. This is the one-hit obliterator. So the great thing about this, we haven't unpacked it. It does it all for us. we can see all the subfolders in this Sark file. So it's quite powerful. It can't read Sarks within Sarks. So that's why we unpack .packs, because there's often a lot of Sarks in a .pack. But if we want to edit this weapon's, let's say, VG param list, we just right click, open as YAML, and it'll open right here. And it's just great. You can tell that I've edited this already. It did not work the way I wanted to. So let's say we want to give this 999 power. This is supposed to be the one-hit obliterator, but I've broken it, so we're going to give it 999 attack. And when we're done, we go save, and it'll save to here. Now, because we're not editing a YAML, we're editing a Sark, you then need to save the Sark. We click save, 930, 930. So this is a very powerful tool for if you want to edit a lot of small things quickly. Things like you want to edit 5 enemies to have smaller health. You want to edit 10 weapons to have more damage. This is an incredibly useful tool to do those very quick edits. You don't need a pack, you don't need to unpack. You do need to know what you're looking for. So, big BIML files, maybe you don't want to use this. I use it because all of my save data is at the bottom. I know where I can find it. But if I were hunting through save data trying to find a specific actor, I'd definitely be using Notepad. That's probably it for now. I hope this is a good overview. I'll show you the other modding tools that I like to use, just to give you an idea of what is out there. Switch Toolbox. You'll use this, download it at some point. It's great. Bfres tool. I know that you are looking at editing your textures. A lot of those are in Bfres format. So you want Bfres tool, get the latest one. That's good. MSBT editor. I think you're already familiar with it. I think WildBits can do most of that, to be honest. But it's an option. I haven't had any luck with Bflim tool, to be honest. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. Bflims are what a lot of the HUD icons are saved at, as basically a Bfres, but not. Bars tool. If you want to edit sounds, this is your baby. Super useful. That's about all I use. You don't need this. That's for other stuff. What's in here? Oh, Bfres script. I used that once. This doesn't actually exist. So there you go. Oh, this save editor is great for testing as well, if you want to test out a weapon. And of course, Ice Spear. I don't think you want to use Ice Spear, but if you have any interest in editing the overworld, that's why I've been playing with save data. Ice Spear, brilliant tool, so much fun. Heavy on the setup, so hopefully Shadowmoth will have a tutorial soon. It is big, resource intensive, and a pain in the butt to set up. But once you got it, it's great. I have spent the last 2 months just messing around with this. I'll leave it there. Hopefully this gives you a good overview of basic tools that I use a lot for modding. If you're interested in model editing, I can only point you in the right direction. Switch Toolbox. Bfrest tool for textures. There are a lot of modders much more skilled than me that can do model imports, remodels, model edits, all those sorts of fun things. I'm not one of them. No. Not me. So let's leave it there.